Hi guys. So today I'm going to be in a very homey environment, but I really wanted to share with you some information and insights about current transit of Mars in Aries because it's going to be so significant and pretty much kind of like life changing. And I just had an inspiration, and if you know me, you know how I love to write, by hand. Obviously, I hate to type on the computer especially, but I love typewriters. So anyway, I just want to go over all these themes so you will know. Now, I'm just going to make this video and upload it to YouTube. And I'm not going to be talking in a rush, and I want you to understand because it's very important time. And I will speak pretty much very comprehensively. So even if you don't know astrology perfectly, so you will understand pretty much everything. Now, right now it's very significant time because we are still going through Aries season, and we have an stellium, which means a concentration of planets in one specific sign or house. Now in this specific example, it's obviously the sign of Aries, and right now we have everybody there, okay? And now Mars is joining the company and it's going into its own sign, right? The Aries on domain. And I've already talked that Venus is right now is also residing in its own domain of Taurus, which is by itself very significant. But in any way, so right now, next week also, Mercury is entering Aries, and we are having a new moon in Aries. Like I said, it's going to be the beginning of the beginnings. Right now, it's very important to proceed with awareness, slowly, think about everything twice, okay? Because we are going into the time where Uranus is also going to enter the sign of Gemini, air. So it's two elements, fire and air. By itself, just imagine these two elements together and you will understand the energies that's going to be prevailing within you, around you, individually or collectively. It doesn't really matter. And obviously, those signs are going to be affected the most. Now, once Mars enters Aries today, it's making a conjunction with Neptune first, and the exact conjunction is actually going to happen on Monday, April 13th, followed by conjunction with Saturn on Sunday, April 19th. Okay, now why it is significant? Both Saturn and Neptune have already been in the sign of Aries in 2025. Okay, Saturn entered at the end of May of 2025, and Neptune were actually in Aries since March 30th, 2025, exactly at the same time in the Aries season, when it was Venus retrograde there, it was Mercury there, it was Chiron, the wounded healer there, right? Mars was not there, Jupiter was not there, and Saturn was like in and out of Pisces, hanging out. Like I said, it's entered later. Now, at that time, it actually happened in July and beginning of August. That period of time was very significant because it was pretty much preview into a new life that you are entering this year. We're entered pretty much on February 20th of 2026, when both Neptune and Saturn made a conjunction at the world point of cardinal sign Aries 0 degrees. So think back at that time and try to remember what was happening back then. Okay, what themes were prevailing in your life, who you were talking to, what new beginnings were back then. Because like I said, it was a preview. It's like, they lift the veil for just a little bit for you to see, get excited, and then it just closed. Okay, but that time, it's actually if we talk about July and August, when both Saturn and Neptune were in Aries in 2025, the only other who was joining them, the only other, not a planet, okay, asteroid who was joining them, it was Chiron, the wooden healer, but at a different degree. So at that time, you probably had some kind of epiphany, but also a wound. Something perhaps familiar even, okay? But that wound and that time, because remember, like I said, they lifted the veil for a little bit, and then both Saturn and Neptune, they went to retrograde and they went to Pisces. So that time, from July to the beginning of August, initiated something new in your life and within yourself, even if you do not understand that. You feel it. Something new initiated. And we went through autumn when we had like a crazy eclipse season. And then winter, it's a downtime, it's a natural downtime. So at that time, everything was fermented and germinating within us that was seeded in July and beginning of August. That time, like I said, like circle it for yourself. Go back and find what was happening for you. So, like I said, within us, it was like alchemical process that germinated something new inside of us. Right now, it comes back. Okay? Right now, it's coming back, and things can move very fast, very sudden and abruptly, because right now Uranus at the 29 degree, the last degree, and a critical degree of Taurus. So that's it. Whatever is like finishing right now, it's finishing for the good, for the best, and whatever is initiating right now, whatever you're coming back to, is initiating again. Okay, and things will move very fast because of Gemini and sudden, very abruptly, unexpectedly, because it's Uranus. Like I said, this year, everybody's talking about initiation, me too, but like I always say, go slowly. This is the most important. In Russian, we have a saying, you know, if you move too fast, you will make people laugh. Yes, this is what usually happens, okay? Because you don't think thoroughly, okay? You don't see things, you don't see the bigger picture, you don't see the consequences, what can be after that if you just will be impulsive and just follow, you know, you're like, oh, I love it, I want it, and that's it, impulses, I mean. So this is very important to analyze that time in your life. And I've done many readings since then, I mean, and at that time specific, and I know that at least for my clients, for many of them, many things actually initiated back then. And like I said, it was a preview, and then it was just taken away. Now it comes back, and more strongly. And another thing you have to pay attention to, that Mars actually in its own sign of Aries, last time it's been there in 2024. It was a very transformational year for many. It's very eventful. I've met many people. I feel like I've never met so many people throughout my life. Anyway, so in 2024, think back from the time of the same Aries season, okay? March, April. March, April, yes. And what was happening in your life? And actually, you have to think about different time. You have to think, I'm sorry. I wrote it down, I feel like. So yeah, last time Mars was in Aries since April 30th, 2024 till June 9th, 2024. Oh my God, it was very eventful time for me, okay? Okay, anyway, so think back at that time and what was going on at that time for you. Now put it together with July and August of 2025. And this is what initiating. Back then, also something was initiating, and this is actually Mars themes. What has started for you? What thoughts were in your mind back then? What were you planning? What were your goals? It will come back to you, or like either you will get back to the certain ideas, to the same kind of ideas, thought patterns perhaps, or like, you know, something will come back from that time. Maybe originally you thought about something and then you just like, dismissed it, and now you pick it up again, okay, because now it makes more sense. Now another reason for right now things are moving faster, and a lot of initiations happening right now, because things are just more clear within us, okay? We passed everything and now we know, okay? Now we know, lessons are learned, okay? We passed the Pisces time with Saturn and Neptune, and now we're in a different time of initiations, okay? So you might get back to the same ideas and things that were in your mind and in your life at that time, or energies or people, but now things are much more clear. Now you will see what you actually need or not. You will be more assertive, and you have actually an opportunity to be not only more assertive, but more to have more advantage in everything if you will move actually slowly with everything, okay? So in any way, think back in 2024, like I said, from the end of April till June 9th, and then July and August of 2025. These are the things that are coming back. Now, another thing that Chiron, the wounded healer, right now is at the latest Aries degree, and it will conjunct the new moon in Aries on April 17th. So we actually literally passed this lesson in the sign of Aries. So we are now becoming much more clear with ourselves, with our vision, with our decisions. We now have to have, I hope for everybody, boundaries, limitations. We are now not afraid to be more assertive and more authentic, okay? To be more clear with people, it's to be a little bit selfish, okay? Because a little selfishness is healthy, okay? So anyway, right now is very important time, and the most crucial is to move with awareness, with full understanding. So try not to overstimulate yourself with anything. Avoid this at all costs. Try to have more grounding practices with yourself. Try to be with yourself more, because Aries and fire and air energy, it is very energy depleting, okay? It's very, very hard to always have these high energies, and do not know how to calm down, okay? So it is very important. So meditate, breathing practices, and if you want a personalized wellness plan based on your natal chart, like I said, just DM me. I do have an astro wellness readings and my astro wellness method that I did develop myself using astrology, ancient wisdom, Ayurveda, and other techniques. So it's a whole complex, and this is like a full health optimization and wellness optimization 101. So DM me, we can talk more about it, and I wish everybody a great time.